So, absolutely everyone right now should be looking into strength builds in Elden Ring, because in patch 1.04, they not only increased the colossal sword and colossal weapons attack speed and lowered their recovery time, but they also increased the two-handed attack damage of the colossal swords and the colossal weapons. So what we are going to do in this video is go through a build I put together, I'm going to say a little while back, and I named it my Super Mega Double Bonk build, but instead of running 2 colossal weapons, we are going to run 1, and we are going to two-hand it, so that you can see how much stronger these builds actually are right now. And just quickly, before we do get into this, if you are not currently subbed to the channel, make sure you do sub, turn notifications on. If you enjoy the video, don't forget to leave a like, all support is greatly appreciated. And if you want to support me further as a creator, then check out the links in the description, and let's get into it. So we are back to having a look at the Giant Crusher. It's a colossal weapon, so it's a gigantic hammer, and if you look at the attack power, 329 but a bonus of 546. We've got Royal Knight's Resolve on it. I've put the Occult Affinity on it, because if we have a quick look at the Ash of War, if I make it standard for an example, yeah, the base attack power goes up to 370, but with Strength as the standard attribute, the bonus goes down to 345. Even if I put this to Heavy, where it's got S tier scaling with Strength, the standard goes down to 322, so not a big difference. But if you look at that bonus attack power, from 546 it would go down to 443. Obviously you need 60 strength to run this weapon, but if I was you, I would build up your arcane as well and go for the occult affinity, because it will put your bonus attack power up to 546. Looking at my stats quickly, my arcane is 56 and my strength is at 60. So I've got the base requirement for the weapon, but then I've got quite a lot of arcane as well, and that attack power is very, very impressive. So what we are going to do in our offhand is run any seal in the game, doesn't matter. We are just using Flame Grant Me Strength because it stacks with the Commander Standard and it gives you an extra physical attack power. Then we have the Commander Standard, which is a 20% damage increase. Then in terms of the armor, you can run absolutely anything. However, as always with a melee build, I highly recommend Raptor's Black Feathers. You'll see that I'm not running any gauntlets. I mean, it doesn't matter whatsoever. You're just going to get extra damage negation, but when you're dealing this much damage to enemies, you really don't need it. In terms of the talismans, I'm having to run Radagon Sword Seal and also the Star Scourge Heirloom so that I can bring my strength up to 60. And then I am running the Claw Talisman and the Rotten Winged Sword Insignia, so successive attacks will greatly raise our attack power, and also the Claw Talisman will enhance our jump attacks and stack with the Raptor's Black Feathers. And that's what I would usually run, the Rotten Winged Sword Insignia, but because I'm going to be showcasing like how strong you can actually get this, I'll put on Ritual Sword and I will keep my health at maximum. The only reason I haven't put this in the build and told you about it straight away, and I'm putting this down as an optional one, is because Ritual Sword is so situational. You have to be at max HP, otherwise you don't get any benefit from it, but we will equip it for now. Just know that I would normally run the Rotten Winged Sword Insignia, so the more I attack an enemy, the higher my attack power gets. We're not going to run anything like the Shard of Alexander, because we are not actually getting any attack power from the skill itself. I mean, you get an 80% increase, but the skill isn't dealing that attack power, if that makes sense. It is buffing the weapon, it's not specifically like directly dealing damage itself. Then in the Flask of Wondrous Physic, I am at a heavy load, so I've got the Winged Crystal tier, which will boost your equip load, the maximum end of it, by 350%. And then we have Strength Knot to temporarily, for 3 minutes, take our strength up to 70. As I said, in terms of the spells, the only thing we are using, even though I have Golden Vow on, the only thing we are using is Flame Grant Me Strength. And remember, to get the benefit of 1.04, you are going to have to two-hand the weapon. So if we take a look at the Giant Crusher, if I switch over and we just have both weapons in our hands, if we take a look at the top right armament 1, attack power is 963. If I then switch over and I two-hand, that goes up to 1027. And that's with no buffs on the build whatsoever. So if I drink my flask, and then I do Flame Grant Me Strength, Then I switch over two-hand and use Rallying Standard. Then switch back and just normally, the attack power goes up to 1426. And then if we two-hand it, it goes a little bit higher, up to 1,502. That base attack power is insane. And don't forget, we're going to be doing jumping attacks to deal even more damage. We are going to buff Royal Knight's Resolve for even more damage. This build is absolutely crazy. So I'm just going to rest quickly, then we will go and see our favourite test subject, which is the giant up in Mountaintops of the Giants. So if we head over in this direction, the only reason we're not using Golden Vow is because it does not stack with the Commander Standard. And with the Jellyfish Shield as well, you cannot switch and two-hand any weapon in the game after buffing the Jellyfish Shield because the buff comes off. So it's just Flame Grant Me Strength, it boosts your physical attack power. So if we drink our flask, then we pop Flame Grant Me Strength, then two-hand and use Rallying Standard, then come back and two-hand the Giant Crusher, buff it, wait for him to place his leg down, jump, right trigger, that's 12,400 in a single hit. And then watch this critical damage. Are you ready for this? Without buffing it up again. 27,282. Where else are you seeing them damage numbers? That is fucking crazy damage from two-handing this colossal weapon. What I'm going to do now, because I think we can get over 30k in a critical hit. I'm going to go back to Ancient Snow Valley Ruins. I'm going to do exactly the same thing again. I'll see you guys when we actually get to the giant again and I've buffed everything up. But we are also, when he goes to the ground, we're going to proc Royal Knight's Resolve again. So I'll see you guys in a moment. So I'm just done procking everything. I'm going to go for that leg again. Wait until he places it. Only 10,000 this time. There we go. Quick. Get round here. Royal Knight's Resolve. Watch him not do as much. Watch him not be as much. It was the same again. Why did Royal Knight's Resolve not count for that crit? I've done this before and RKR doesn't always give that 80% from the crit, but I've seen extra damage buffs when you use it on the crit. So I don't know why the damage was the same there. And also the beginning hit, like the initial hit, wasn't as high as the first attempt, like test against him. Okay, everything's buffed up. Quick. It's only the 10k again. Same number again. I don't know what I've done different. I've literally procced everything and I'm two-handing the colossal weapon. I'm getting 27,000, but the initial hit is only 10k. There we go, we've got the 12.4. Please. It's not going to make a difference, is it? Oh, that is such a shame. I thought we'd get more. I don't know why RKR doesn't work for crits. It's supposed to be... I mean, realistically, you are going in for 2 attacks. So the second attack that does all the damage wouldn't necessarily build up. But for some reason in previous builds, I've seen the damage get higher. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just not fully understanding the mechanics behind it. But regardless of that, we still managed to get a consistent 27,282 damage in a single critical hit against the giant up in Mountaintops of the Giants. But not only that, from using 1 weapon, not 2, so you don't need to use a super mega double bonk build, you can just have 1 colossal weapon. I would recommend the Giant Crusher, because it has like the highest attack power. But just using the 1 weapon, you are getting either 10 or 12,000 damage from your first jumping attack against that enemy. Those damage numbers is not because of the build. Like, the build is really, really good, granted, but it's all because of the balance adjustments they did in 1.04. That patch for your strength builds that are running colossal swords and colossal weapons it does state for both the attack speed and recovery time, plus the increased attack damage, that jump attacks are not included, but you're still getting very good damage from your jump attacks. It just means when you are standing there and you're swinging these weapons, you are getting even more damage, they attack faster, and the recovery time is lower too. So right now in Elden Ring, ever since patch 1.04 dropped, the builds you want to focus on are still your bleed builds. They are still incredibly strong. I believe there were 1 or 2 things that changed that made them a little bit weaker in certain situations, but they are still very viable. However, because of the buff, we're going to be checking out a lot of different Colossal Sword and Colossal Weapon builds. And that was a look at the Giant Crusher, and I mean, 27.3k damage from a single crit. Yeah, sign me up for more. What we are going to do is leave that video there. Let me know your thoughts and stuff in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one. I hope you guys enjoyed it.